There he is, Mr. Simon Dolan. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you having here. I was giving you a quick bio, to people that are out there, but you're the guy really that took the UK government to court over the COVID lockdown. You're also a really successful businessman, and you're quite an aficionado for motor racing, kickboxing. You're quite an interesting guy, Simon.
Thank you. Yeah, kickboxing was a while ago now, but yeah, I still follow the MMA and things like that. And yeah, I just like to do stuff. I'm similar to you, really. You're a business guy. You like sports and so on. And I think we've ended up in this political world that probably neither of us wanted to get into, but felt that we had to. Me from the legal perspective, and you, of course, running for mayor. So that's quite interesting.
It is interesting, Simon, you bring up a good point there because, a lot of people in business and entrepreneurs, they stay away from the world of politics. They're like, I don't go there. I don't talk about that at the dinner table. But, both you and I think we felt like we couldn't not get involved. Like we had to do something because, I don't know, it was kind of liberty at stake or our freedom, or it was about principle. Is that what it was for you?
Yeah, I think, you said, I think, why people said to you, why did you run for London mayor? And you said, well, so I could tell my kids that I did my best. I tried
Yeah.
something. And I said exactly the same thing to my family, because we didn't have to do it. We didn't have to bring the court case. Could have just quite happily lived and did what every other high profile businessman did, which was precisely nothing, and just hang it out and see what happened or let somebody else do it. But I couldn't have lived with myself, I don't think, if I'd have not just tried everything. And ultimately we weren't successful in court, but at least we raised awareness. And I think history will look very kindly on what we tried to do, and not quite so kindly on the politicians which have ruined the country.
Yeah, and people forget back, in April of last year, Simon, May, there weren't many people having the hard conversations. We were streaming on our platform. We got censored and had to create our own platform. But I had countless, entrepreneurs, economists, professors at major institutions talking about the opposite narrative than the government was giving us. But there wasn't many people. There were you were taking them to court, but not a lot of people were having those conversations, and it wasn't happening in the mainstream media, was it?
No, not at all. I mean, quite the opposite from mainstream media point of view, and they have to take a lot of criticism. I think, yeah, it's a truism that bad news sells, and so the newspapers and the media, they're just going to run scare stories all day long because people click on them. If it's 1,000 people died of COVID today, you're going to click on that story. If it's 1,000 people recovered from COVID today, you're not going to click. You're just going to feel good about it. So, and of course, you've got the government that are spending a fortune on advertising with these publications. And so, of course, they had a vested interest in just keeping the narrative going, and you see that. Now we're saying, oh, there's a South African variant, and there's I don't know, the Mexican variant, the Kent variant, and then they can't think of anything else. So then they say we have a double variant from India, just to try and keep the fear going. And some of this sticks, some of it doesn't, and some of it does. But a lot of it is just driven by media scare stories.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was doing so much collateral damage last year when it came to the economy, that it was just, I couldn't stand by and watch it happen. I know you couldn't. And we had so many broadcasts of people talking about the massive damage we were doing to ourselves economically, which of course translates into our younger generation being hopeless for the future, our mental health being dangerously low, our physical health. I mean, there was so much collateral damage with that. But there was just a few people kind of doing that counter narrative, while meanwhile, like you said, mainstream kind of goes for the clicks and the views, but it's hurting everybody in the long run. And it was great to see people like you and we did, and a few other people really talking about something different, and then take it to the next level, which is kind of what I decided to do the last 6 months, and seeing that, because when we started 6 months ago, this was still something quite counter narrative, to talk about getting London back to work.
Yeah, yeah, and it just, as every day goes past, you realize just how much it's necessary to get London back working again. It's all very well Genghis Khan going on about building cycle lanes and this and that, but cycle lanes don't create jobs. No green initiative ever creates a job other than a government funded one. We need small businesses open, and that's why in your manifesto you're saying about helping small businesses. And you're quite right, because that's where everything starts. What people forget is that every big business started as a small business one day. Starbucks was just one cafe once. McDonald's was just one cafe, one restaurant once. And this is where the economy, this is the lifeblood of the economy. And now, you look at London. I came to see you a few weeks ago, and as I was driving through, it just everywhere shut. And okay, we're here now. There's nothing we can do about that. But what we can do is get it open and get it working and welcome people back into London. Get rid of the congestion charge and let these people open. It's so necessary that we have a business person that oversees this.
Yeah, it's so important. And just like you said, I mean, I think it's 98% of the GDP in London is small and medium-sized enterprises. And it's also the culture of London. If you think about the great things about London, it's those black cabbies that are independent drivers. It's the tailor that makes my suits. It's that cafe. It's like, that's what gives us the reason people want to come to this great city. It's not because of, these mass businesses that are here. And I think you're referring to the manifesto, and I got Simon an early digital copy of this thing, and we've got 50,000 of these printed out. And I'm telling you, when I'm out in public with these and I'm showing them to people, they all want to grab them, because it's quite a fun, readable document. But like you said, the top thing here is rebuilding London's economy. And as you said, it's abolish the congestion charge, get people into London spending. It's zero out business rates till the end of the year because these businesses are barely hanging on. And then the big thing we got is our great celebration event. And again, it's show me, don't tell me is the way we're campaigning. And it's kind of the embodiment of a pro-business mayor to like pull off an event, 31 days, 20 million people in the city, and show off the best London has to offer, but also tell the world that we are back. We've experienced a tough year, but London is back and ready for business. And we want to show the world maybe we've recovered quicker than anyone else. And we could pull in all the tourism business that Europe might be seeing this whole year. And I'm really excited when I talk about these policies. And people in the public get it. I don't think you need an economics degree to know that this makes sense.